What's up, guys? It is J Chaos. I am going to be going over all of the perks in the game, and I will be telling you the order of which I think these perks are the best. Now, someone might say, well, what makes you qualified to make such a video? Well, while everybody's been playing, I have been studying each and every one of these perks that you see here extensively to the point to where I know their ins and outs. I know what they do, what they don't do, what's good, what's bad, what fits for certain characters, and what doesn't fit. And I have been doing this for the last 8 days of playing this game, and I have really been enjoying it because I don't know if you guys have watched the broadcast where the devs were talking with Nakaz, Kamaj, and the other guy. I forgot what his name is. I don't mean to disrespect you. I know who you are, but I just can't remember your name. He's a commentator for the Pro Series at Justice League and Mayhem 1, all of that stuff. Yeah, them and then the other developer. What's his name? Brian? I think it's Brian. So yeah, I watched that, and I was already deep into the lab whenever I watched that broadcast, and whenever they were saying certain things, I was like, man, they really just haven't dove into the system yet. The developers actually made a really good system, and you can actually have so much counterplay in just the perk system itself. So I wanted to make a video because I wanted to bring clarity, and a few people have messaged me and said, hey, can you actually share your info that you have? So that's what this video is. Here we go. It's J Chaos. Let's get it started. So I am not going to go over each and every single one of these like extensively. I'm gonna just tell you what I found and just like how effective it really is and how misleading some of them really are and what's good and what's not good. So let's start off with the offensive section. So out of all of these perks, the only ones that really actually do something for you is collateral damage, make it rain dog, snowball effect, and painted target. These are only good four out of all of these perks. And somebody might say, what are you talking about? Okay, so this doesn't do anything for you. The shock doesn't actually do anything at all. Um, you have to move on the ground for 4 seconds. That's number one. Like, just, yeah, too long. Nobody stays on the ground that long. So this perk is never going to be used in that regard. Because you're just putting yourself as a liability. So yeah, and then the shock itself doesn't do really anything to the enemies at all. Um, but here also, this is the one that I see a lot of people running. This also does nothing to the enemies. If you ignite them for 1 second, you get no damage. If you not ignite them for 2 seconds, you get 1 damage. So it's a perk where you really have to be spamming projectiles in order to see any sort of benefit from it, and the chances of that happening is just not likely because of people moving around very frantically. This is not good because you would have to run 2 zoners to make it effective, and that's with 2 stacks already. And again, you need 15 to be able to freeze. So this will never be a good perk to put your stuff into. It's just not worth it. This perk, I would never run it myself because a lot of characters already have armor breaking moves built into their kit, so there's no reason for this. It's a nice perk to think about, but in actual game practice, everyone already kind of has this. And if you don't have an armor breaking move, then you probably have a really quick double hitting move that does the same thing anyway. So you really don't need this. It's kind of a useless perk. Slippery and faint. This will cause bad habits to be formed. There's no need to ever use this. You do notice it. I will say that you will notice it because of the way that it stacks. Anything that goes from 10% to 20%, those are the ones that you feel. So it is a good perk, but that's not insinuating good play. Like, why would you want to dodge out of an attack hit and increase the distance? Like, number one, they're already going to be in hit stun, which means you're missing out on a combo, or you're going to over dodge if you're trying to do some sort of continuation or meaty or frame trap or anything of that sort, right? So it's just not a good perk because you don't really want to build off of that. And this right here is this is actually a really good perk. However, it's just, I don't know. To get an enemy debuffed is a lot. So this works really good with Batman. This works really good with any character that can put debuffs on an enemy. This is actually um, a really solid perk. However, I will say one thing. This is not the best way to actually get your cooldown. Now, I will say this perk paired with another perk is actually really, 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 really freaking good. But it is a good perk, but it's just not worth it. Um, there's better perks that actually like happen more. For example, you first have to get the debuff, and then you have to hit the enemy. That's two requirements, and both of those require setup. So it's not a good perk in my opinion. This perk, I would never use it because again, you have to first put the status, and then you have to hit him. Again, if you're a Batman, this is a good perk for you because it was for every hit. Now you have to stack it, but the chances that someone's going to stack it, it's not likely. Now let's talk about these two. These are the two most overrated perks in the game. These perks are actually trash. It's very misleading, and a lot of people don't really know what they do or how much it's actually doing. So, I'm not only going to just talk about these perks, I'm actually going to give you in-game examples. Now, I will give you a forewarning that the lab right now is very buggy. Sometimes perks will stack, sometimes they won't, even if you have them both on. So, just bear that in mind. I've done enough labbing to where I can feel the difference already, so I know what I'm looking for. But I'll let you know if the lab is actually just bugging out and it's just not doing it properly, because sometimes it will do that. For example, percussive punch power. Number one, in order to actually see anything from this perk, you have to stack it, which means you both have to run it. Let's say you did an attack that does 10%, right? You're only going to get 1 extra damage added to that. Now, this perk sucks. Why? Because if you look at the description, it says with attacks that knock back enemies, which means only an attack that actually knocks back an enemy horizontally or vertical does it actually do that little extra 2. So if you have a knockback move, not just any move that's horizontal or any move that's vertical, if it has knockback, then you get that little 10% for 2 stacks. 2. 10% from 10 would be 1, so it's 11%. It doesn't do anything. That's horrible. That's actually trash. But that's cool. I really don't like the offensive perks being very strong because I feel like that's just like whatever. But anyways, same thing for this one. They're trash. And I'll show it to you. So let's go ahead and do, let me pick a character who has let's do Velma. Right, so 6 damage. Well, let me just put this on as well, so that way people can see the numbers themselves. 6 damage, right? And it has vertical knockback, right? So let's put on 1 stack of vertical knockback, right? And let's do the same thing. Still 6 damage, right? So it literally added nothing to your kit whatsoever. Then let's go ahead and make a teammate here, right? And then put on the exact same perk, right? And then we're gonna go in here and do the exact same move, and it's still 6 damage, right? So let's just do a character who has a little bit more damage on their vertical move, Superman, right? So let's go ahead and put this perk on, and now we're gonna do the Superman punch. 1 second. So the first hit was 4, the second hit was 11. Well, you totaled them up together, it was 11. So that's 7 damage for this hit, right? This hit is 7 damage, right? And that's what both of these perks on, right? That's what it actually does without the perk being on, right? So none of these perks actually are doing anything whatsoever to your damage at all. And if you do this one, hop up, buddy, right? That one does 7 as well. None of these aerials that we're doing actually do enough damage for you to even see the difference that it's making to your damage. For example, let's take Arya for example. Her vertical does 8 damage, right? That's what both of them want. That's what it does normally, right? This does 7. For the 2 hits, you still don't see any sort of damage from those 2 whatsoever. So, what does that really mean? That means that these attacks that it's calling for normally don't do enough vertical damage to actually do anything. The only character where you will notice a difference on is Finn. Really. Because he's the only one that has an attack that actually does enough damage for you to actually see how much he's doing. So with this perk on, it does 11 damage, right? And if I take him off, both of them, watch this. Hold on, 1 second. 1 second. I missed it. I missed another one. Bear with me. You still get the same thing. So this perk does absolutely nothing. These are the 2 most overrated perks in the game. Everyone runs it, and it's not good. Now, horizontal would be a little bit better than vertical. Vertical is the worst one out of them all, but horizontal is actually pretty nice. For certain characters who have like a lot of horizontal damage, for example, Taz's Tornado. But again, how much damage do you think Taz's Tornado does? I'll show you exactly how much it does. Take this perk off really quick, and then we'll see that it does. Oh, he's still jumping. Man, Loki exposed me. Y'all saw that? Dang, tragic. Anyways, 11 damage. Guess what? If I put both of those on for horizontal, it's still going to be 11 damage, no matter what I do. So yes, these perks really are not adding anything to your kit whatsoever. So I will just advise you to stay away from those perks. Now let's talk about a perk that actually does do something. Make it Rain Dog. This is again, these 4 are the only good 4 perks in this whole list. Like, because it's the same thing again. 15%, you're not going to notice it. You only get 1 extra damage for a projectile. Now this is okay on time if you're playing a sniping game, because every single one of his projectiles get that 15%, and that can actually bring your 5-hit projectile combo that hits for 35 up to around 40 for that. So that's whenever it can be, but all of them have to hit from a sniping distance, which is already ridiculous. Nobody's doing that unless you have an Iron Giant on your team who is a god tier like zone controller. Other than that, this perk has no usage whatsoever. Same thing as this one. 10% on a projectile. Projectiles already do trash damage, so this perk is trash as well. Same thing with this one. Melee attacks in the air, you're never going to see that damage. And same thing, this is actually an okay perk, but it bugs out, and sometimes you'll actually not be able to move from it. So yeah, this perk is okay, but I find that it'll put you in a much worse situation, because it's not like you can dash down and then jump down. You know what I'm saying? You can only just dash down, so you can do it and then dash down twice, right? So, and it only refreshes your air special attacks. So if a opponent was about to kill you for killing his teammate, you're still going to be dead anyway. This is such a situational perk that it rarely is going to ever be useful to take up the slots. Now, if you stack it, you get refresh all air options. Now that's good, right? So I would only run this if it's stacked. However, I will say it's very costly for the fact that you have to ring out the enemy, and you can only do that so much in a game. So, not exactly a fun perk, if you ask me, but it is what it is. So this one, this is actually pretty good, because this can actually make your combos do a much more damage. So I'll actually show you here really quickly. Let me go ahead and delete him. And then I'll pick a Shaggy, and while I am doing Shaggy, I guess I'll also be showing you guys a cool combo that I'm pretty sure nobody's... Right? So, cool little combo, right? And you immediately put on this perk, right? And you get a little bit more damage from it, right? And you'll actually see that in the total here. You actually have to max space this in order to get it to land. Oh, I messed up the combo. Oh gosh, we're not. Anyways, you can kind of see the damage difference. I didn't max space. That's a tragedy. All right, I'll try it one more time, and then we're gonna call it a wrap. Okay, actually, we're gonna do it one more time. This is where it's supposed to be, right here. That's a tragedy. I messed up one. And then DI is now getting in the way. Okay, we'll just do it off of these two. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, wing. We'll do that one, right? 21, right? That's with it on, and then again, we'll go ahead and take it off here, and you'll actually be able to see a little bit of a difference. A little bit, not a lot, just a little bit. Right? A little bit of a difference. Now, if you actually go ahead and stack this perk, that's when you're going to start seeing a little bit more of a difference. So, why is that? What? Okay. I was about to say, huh? Anyways, so yeah, again, you really don't see anything, right? A little bit of a difference. Like, it's literally these perks do nothing for your damage whatsoever. So, it makes the perks ideally useless. So, now let's talk about Snowball Effect, because this one actually can see, because again, that percentage is over that 10% number. And in order for you to see damage potential, because the way that this game calculates damage, it only calculates by numbers. There's no like point nothing. It's not point anything when it comes to damage. It's that set number. You don't get like 48.7 or 48.5 damage. No, you just do 48, or you round to whatever it is, and that's what it is, right? So these percentages are too low to actually affect the scale of the game. So that actually creates a situation where if the percentage is not high enough, you really see no effect, because it adds it to every hit itself. And if every hit is doing baby damage, then that 10% amounts to nothing. So you're literally using a perk for nothing, right? Well, Snowball Effect. Let's take this one into account. This is actually a perk that actually shows up on the damage board, because it's 15% and it's for every hit, no matter what it is, and 15% you can actually see. So I'll show you that. Well, I won't show you that because that's going to take too much time. Well, basically, this is a really good perk. However, I would never use it. Why? Because it's situational, and it requires for you to do it to the person with the highest damage, which means it's not universal. There are way better perks, which means this perk is actually trash as well. So really and truly, the only 3 good perks in this kit are these 3 right here. So I wouldn't use this, unless the only way I would use Snowball Effect is if you are going against an Iron Giant and you're ganking the Iron Giant, because then you really can Snowball Effect that guy, because he's a big tank. But other than that, I would never use this perk either. Now let's talk about the only really good damage perk in this offensive side, which is this one here. You get a 10% increased damage if your ally also selects this perk. This is the only perk that is actually worth slotting in for damage. And I'll go ahead and show to you exactly what it does. So let me just go ahead here and clear all of my inventory, and let's do a little basic B&B. Bing. So 15, right? Actually, we'll try to do something that's a little bit more juicy. Let's do bing, second here. I'm gonna go all the way over there. We'll just place this. Right, something like that, right? A little cool, whatever, right? Just a little hit stun combo, nothing much, just hit stun, hit stun, hit stun. In order to see anything on this, you have to stack it. So automatic stack in order to see any difference. See what I'm saying? It's really not a lot, but you can only notice it if you're actually doing like combo damage, like, and it only works for characters who really like have like a bunch of like lines and stuff like that. So let me put Shaggy on like 35 because that's whenever she really starts getting the juicy ones. Right? That's 34, right? Now if you take off painted target, that's just not there anymore. So quick second. Right. So oh, I actually did more damage than crazy. By the way, if you didn't know, depending on where you hit with the there you go. Depending on where you hit with the combo, that'll determine the amount of damage that you do. So that's the reason why you're seeing different numbers there. So if you hit like in the sweet spot for an attack, you'll be able to get a certain amount more than what you would if you didn't hit in the sweet spot of the attack. So yeah. See what I'm saying? That's all that you're going to see as a difference. So it's the only one that actually shows up on the damage board, right? And that's a really long combo that never is going to actually happen with DI, right? So yeah. Now, in my opinion, the actual best perk for offensive damage was actually this one. Why? Because it actually happens quite a lot, much more than we actually think it does. And I'll show you here in a second. So, whenever you hit someone, let me actually give them a little bit more bounce, so that way I can. Actually, let me do it with the character who has a little bit more juice to them. Yeah, I'll do her. Right. She actually bounces quite a lot. She bounces people. Right, so right. So that without this perk, the little wall bounce, right? That get knocked back enemies, right? This actually gives you more damage. And that's actually really good. Because if I do that exact same thing, that's that's 14, right? If I take this off, you'll notice you really, again, still won't see much of a difference. Because again, it just doesn't really do as much as none of these perks really are worth it, right? So yeah, you really don't see much of a difference. But whenever you're going against like a Steven Universe, or if you're playing Steven Universe and you use that little jump shield here, and then you do the little jump shield combo, you can actually see a big difference in it. So if you ask me, out of all of the offensive perks, out of the ones I would use Collateral, because it's the only one that actually shows up on the damage board. Like literally the only one. Right? Like that's just a little basic whatever, right? But that only is going to do that much damage. It's going to do a lot more damage if you have this perk on. Let's hope that I can get the combo right again, because I really don't want to spend too much time on the offensive side, because it's really not where the love is at in this game. So I'm only going to give it one more try and then we're out of here. I'm not doing it right. Wow. Right? See what I'm saying? You really don't see much of a difference, but it's the only one that really shows up on the damage board whenever I've done my calculations. So this one and Painted Target are the only two that are really worth it, on top of Make It Rain Dog. Other than that, all of these other perks suck. They really don't add anything to your kit whatsoever. So yeah, let's talk about the defensive perks. So now the game starts to show a little bit more love. Tune Elasticity is pretty good. It's a hard counter to a lot of combos, and it's also a really hard counter to certain maps. A lot of people haven't really touched into this map very well, but I will say this here. Actually, you know what? Let me go ahead and not go too deep into this one. Just know that Batcave becomes your best friend and walls become your best friend because they actually help you in a situation. Like, for example, you know how you'll find yourself if you go in the custom game with this perk on, you'll find yourself in the Batcave, like with 200 plus health, just chilling, big chilling, because the walls help you. They become your best friend. I would never stack it. I would only have a 1, but it's still good. This is trash. This is overrated. This is trash. This is trash as well because of the way that this game plays. And somebody's like, okay, what do you mean by that? It's a really good percentage. 12% is nice, right? But the biggest problem with it is it requires for you to be near an ally. Now, if you're near an ally, the biggest problem with that is, number one, you have to play together, which means any character who's a zoner, any character who has like a multi-hitting move, or any character who has long like combo strings, you're just gonna get caught in the combo food. And then you're like, if you try to help your teammate while they're getting combo, the chances of you getting caught in the combo is now like a possibility. So just playing near your teammate is not really something that works in this game very well. So all of these are really like whatever. The only one that's actually okay is Slippery Customer. It just doesn't do enough. I used to run this perk because I was labbing I was labbing offline, and I was practicing every special, every normal, every forward, every single button in this game. I wanted to know the timing so I could react to someone's move, or if I knew they were going to do a certain string or whatever, I will be able to block or dodge it all at the proper timing so I could never get hit. And then I hopped online and I realized that the timing is very different because of the delay. So this perk allowed for me to help with that, and I would stack it. Now I don't use it at all because I found advanced tech in this game that pretty much makes this perk useless. And on top of that, movement in this game, once you get advanced movement down packed to where you can really do it and you have it consistent and you're not button mashing with your movement, and your movement is articulate and it's this decision making movement or this decisive movement, then you're looking at this one becoming absolutely non-existent. So it's a good perk for like beginner players or players who are struggling with timing. One thing I will say that kind of puts a little bit of a lighter side to this perk is that from my studies, I have found that it is really good against Bugs Bunny and Harley Quinn or Tom and Jerry, characters who have really long active frames on their up airs or their down ones or their up ones or anything of that sort, or any sort of like double hit multi-hitting move. For example, Taz's up 1 that hits twice, or his up 2 that hits twice. You can actually use those extra little frames to get out of that easier, and you can time it a little bit early and you won't get hit. But however, I myself will personally say that it's not enough of a difference to 2 stack, and 10 you really don't feel, but you can feel it kinda. Now, I did use Slippery Customer to practice something, and I actually want to show this to you guys so that way you guys can see a really cool trick, because I really do. Now, I hope a developer watches this video because I will be uploading this to my YouTube, even though I'm doing it on Twitch first. Taz is actually a very easily countered character, but people don't really laugh. They would much rather complain than practice. Oh, I'm playing Steven Universe. That is not the way, buddy. Let's go ahead and do Arya. And I do not want you on my team. We want to go against you. We're going to make you do exactly what this guy is doing. Bear with me one moment, please. I'm just getting this right. Cool. All right. So, if you learn the timing of this, now I'm used to online timing, so you're gonna have to give me a second, but you can actually do that, where you basically time it properly. You can actually just like completely ignore all the frames of the move. Again, I do apologize. It's the on time. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's just one attack here. See what I'm saying? So yeah, and that little time allows you to punish, right? So all it takes is just getting used to that timing. And the timing that I'm doing now is not the timing online, so don't practice it too hard in the lab, because the moment you get online, it's going to be very different. You got to time it earlier, and I'm used to timing it earlier. That's why I'm getting hit. But online, it will literally feel automatic. It's easier online than it is in the lab, because in the lab you actually got to time it close to the actual move. If I had to give it an example, it would be like this, right? Something like that, right? That would be the timing. Yeah. I would say that you would just get that, and this works for every character in the game that has like a really strong like move. For example, well, I can't really do Harley Quinn's for it. One in the air. Who has a really good neutral too? I can't really think of anyone right now, but anyone who has like a really strong or like oppressive like frame, if you time it properly, you actually have like invulnerability frames for quite a little while, to where you can legit just sit there and like in the middle of their attack and then punish them. And that's exactly what that is. That's a hard punish, and you can do this with every character that has a fast enough attack. Now you saw how long I was able to sit in this tornado once I dodged the original frame, right? That gives pretty much every character in this game time to do a punish, which is an up one, or any characters like whatever. Like for example, Superman can actually kill Taz for doing that once. He can like do his dodge and then bink, 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 and then kill. Right? So that's a huge punish for Taz, and this is why I say Taz is a character that needs a little bit more help. In my opinion, he's a character where I think his tornado completely just needs to be reworked. If you ask me, I think he needs to be able to animation cancel out of it, and I think it needs to have much less knockback, not be such a little noob friendly move, but at the same time still be a strong move. I want it to be able to travel, but I don't want the duration to be as long. Maybe he moves faster in it. It could be used like advanced movement, so he can use it to move really fast, but only for a shorter time, instead of him just holding it slowly, moving like a, like, you know, like, I don't know. I just feel like the move has too much duration, and that's the reason why it's causing noobs problems, because it's able to hold a space for very long. But yeah, that's not what this video is about. But yeah, Taz is a really easily counter character, and this perk helps you with doing exactly that. So yeah, now let's talk about Boundless Energy. This perk sucks. This perk is actually trash. I would never use this, and I'll show you why. Whenever you use all my stamina here, look at how fast that heals, right? Right, so that's it. It only gives you 2, by the way, right? Like, it'll give you 2, and then that's pretty much it. Now, if you put this perk on, you're never going to actually feel that, ever, literally ever. And the reason why I say you never won't is because whenever you do damage, you get it back. So the exact same amount that you would get back for waiting for the recharge, you get that back just from naturally playing the game, right? And guess what? If you get hit as well, you also get stamina back. Now, I was like, why the heck would a developer add that into the game? But I know exactly why. At least I think I do. It's to make it to where there's a skill gap at the higher levels, but at the same time, the noobs have a fun time playing the game. If they do get hit, they aren't like getting like steamrolled, because if you don't have stamina and you can't dodge, and your dodge timing is even harder, you're gonna get steamrolled. So So it's a really good noob friendly mechanic, but it also makes it to where like really good players can like legit never have stamina problems and abuse like certain tech that people still are not using. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want people to know what I'm doing. That's causing me to get so many W's. But yeah, this perk is trash. Never use it. Clear the air. It's actually a really good perk, but it's kind of bugged right now. It doesn't work against all projectiles. For example, it can't do it against Velma projectiles, but it works against LeBron's. It works against Ryan's. It works against Bugs Pie. Nothing else. And it works against Shaggy Sandwich. Nothing else. There's no other projectile that it will stop. Not Tom and Jerry's. Nope. Does not work against Tom and Jerry's. I don't know if that was intended or if not, but it does not work. If you wanna see, I can go ahead and show you. Matter of fact, in my opinion, I think that is the reason why this perk is trash. Is the fact that it does not reflect Tom and Jerry's projectile. That's the worst one for me. But Velma also, because these are the two problem characters, right? Ryan's okay, but these two are the problem characters because they can really like wreck a noob's life whenever you have the skill with the character. And not to be able to reflect those projectiles with this perk really puts it in a down spot. But it is a really good perk, and I'll show you why it's really good. So I'll talk about this one a little bit more, but I wanted to go over this one. This is the best perk for defensive players, but it's also a really good offensive tool. This is the hardest counter that you can get to a zoning character. And the reason why I say that is because, number one, having armor in general is really, really freaking good. For example, imagine having armor for 3 seconds with Finn, right? So let me just show you for a second. I'll just give you an example. We'll put both of these on really quick. And then we'll go against LeBron. Right. And we'll just make him do his regular. Right. The cool thing is LeBron becomes your friend whenever you do this because you can actually aim this perk. Now you just use his ball to assist your teammate. Now your teammate has better neutral because you ran this perk. That's actually hella good. And like I said, you can aim the perk. So wherever you're looking, that's where it's going to go. So you can purposely turn around and send it over to your teammate to help your teammate out, which is really good. But again, it doesn't work against all projectiles in the game, which is the biggest downside to it, because it would actually be a really good perk if it did so. See what I'm saying? Doesn't work. Will not reflect those. No reflect. So yeah, it's a good perk because it destroys the projectiles, which is cool. But I think it needs to reflect every projectile in the game, and then it will be a good perk. But let's talk about Sturdy Dodger. This is the real money maker here. This is the one that you really want to talk about. So let's go ahead and use good old Ryan Dog here, because Ryan Dog is he's a cool kid. Okay, so for some reason my Sturdy Dodger is not proccing at all. Let me switch to Superman. I don't know, I'm telling you guys, sometimes this game will just be so bugged to where you can't really like lab things like how you really want to. So I'll go ahead, hopefully it works on Superman. It's not working on Superman either. Wow. Okay, so this perk is being bugged right now for no apparent reason. Sometimes it just happens. The lab is trash, honestly. The developers need to really fix this up. But here's what I'll do. I don't know. I really want to show you guys this. So let me just exit really quick. Hopefully this fixes it. If it doesn't, then I guess we're gonna have to go without. Hopefully it fixes it though. This is like the most upsetting thing about the lab is that you'll have to go and this is the reason why it took me 8 days to like figure all of this stuff out, because I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Why is this perk not proccing? Is it bug? But no, it actually works. It's just sometimes this game just wants to be this game. So yeah, I noticed that every time you pair it with another perk, sometimes it'll, I don't know, I feel like certain perks, whenever you pair them together, they work less good. So we'll see. We'll see. Let's hope that it works now. Right, cool. So you get armor, right? This is really good because now you can actually use that same armor to beat, you know, like, you can make those normals now have armor. It's just hella good. Especially when you pair that with a character that, like, you know, like, imagine Finn or Arya, right? Or Harley Quinn with armor, right? Imagine Tom and Jerry with armored while he's shooting this thing. Imagine Shaggy armored while he's doing his regular forward too, right? Imagine Batman armored while he's shooting his whatchamacallit at you, right? Like, these are characters where, like, if they have armor, they immediately become like hella oppressive, right? So, like, for example, I'll just give you a rough example. Imagine that, right? That's a whole different game plan, right? That's a whole nother level of just, bro, that's broken, right? Well, not broken. I'd use that word carelessly, so I'm not saying this is broken, but it's the best defensive perk against a zoner, right? And then let's see if it'll stack, because sometimes it won't stack. Yeah, it's not stacking. Oh, that's a tragedy. With the 3 seconds, you can actually use their offense as a way to create yourself better offense, and this creates an extreme amount of pressure. And that's the reason why I say Sturdy Dodger is the best one in the game. Reflect is good as well, especially whenever you pair these up. Now, they don't bug out online. It's only in the lab. These won't bug out online or in custom games, but in the lab they will bug out and not show the correct thing. So I've actually, like, gone into custom games just to actually do my testing that way, and use, like, the damage numbers as a way to kind of calculate the damage. But yeah, I don't know, the lab's just bugged. Clear the Air is a good perk whenever you are going against the right character. It's really good against Ryan. It's really good against LeBron. The most, it's really, really good against LeBron, because you basically, he becomes your teammate even though he's your enemy, and they really go well paired together. This is the reason why I say, like, the developers did a good job with the perks, because if you're going against a zoner and you're having a hard time, run these 2 perks and you will be solid. Now, if you're a noob, then these 2 perks are actually your best friends. I would never use these 2 myself because I don't want to play perks that insinuate bad play. But if you're going against a Tom, then the chances of you getting hit by his projectile is pretty high, unless you do advanced movement and you're always pressing him so where he can't do it. But even so, you get projectile combos built into the game. Like, characters do projectile combos anyway, so anytime you receive a projectile hit, you get a projectile block buff for a certain amount of seconds, which is really good because it just completely just negates the projectiles at that point. And your team received a 7% ability cooldown refund after being knocked back. Now, this is really good, actually. However, again, you gotta get hit, so nobody really wants to deal with that. Now, this perk, we'll talk about this in a little bit, because now since we went over all of these, that's pretty much it. So now let's talk about utility. In my opinion, this is where you should always spend all of your slots, all of them, on these perks alone, because these perks are the best perks in the game. There's only one perk that I would use in the defensive one, right, and that's Sturdy Dodger, right? And there's only one perk that I would use in the offensive one, and that would be Make It Rain Dog. Other than that, I'm not touching any of these. Why? Because these perks are really healthy perks. They're not toxic, they're just healthy. And if you learn tech, if you learn advanced movement, they just make it so much better. So let's talk about it. Tasmanian Trigonometry. This is a really good perk. However, this is a skillful perk. If you do not know what you're doing, you can actually make yourself die in a situation where you would have lived. If they sent you to, like, the upward right, but you were doing like a up air because you were trying to punish something, you're actually going to kill yourself now, because you have that much more base influence, or you can kick yourself, you can bring yourself closer to the ring out and then kill yourself. So yeah, this is not a one to do, because if you're holding a direction, if you're trying to do a combo, if you're trying to do a down one or whatever, or down one horizontal, like a downward angle, right? it's gonna make it to where you go in that direction, even if you didn't want to, at a really fast speed. And the more damage that you take, the stronger that gets. And the longer that you play the game, the less effective this perk becomes. But if you're playing a tanky character, like this perk with Iron Giant, it's really good. This perk with Superman, it's really good. But if you're a squishy character like Finn or Arya or anything like that, you're gonna get sent anyway. It's not gonna save you, and it's not worth the 2 slot. Because in order to help, you have to have the 2 slot. So I would never run this personally. There are way better perks. Now let's talk about a good one in a single bound. This is one of the best perks in the game. However, I would never stack it. Never. I would only single. Now you could stack it if you wanted to, but it's diminishing returns, and since you only have so many slots to work with, you and your teammate, I would never stack. But that 10% can be felt. So I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So let me pick a character who has a good bit of movement. So let's pick Batman. Oh, we'll just use Batman, right? Okay, if you don't know about this already, then you should. This is part of how you do advanced movement. You know, it's just kind of basic now, but you do your dodge jump, right? So I'm gonna just do a regular one. So I start at Shaggy's feet, right? Start at Shaggy's feet. We'll start at Shaggy's feet. We go about right there, right? And then you take this perk and you get a jump speed boost, right? And you'll feel it. You'll feel it. Trust me, you'll feel it. It's about the same spot. Right, you see what I'm saying? That little boost. Hold on 1 second. Alright, so we're getting back in the same spot. Oh, I just did the cape. My fault. You can't see the difference, but you can feel the difference in how fast that is, right? So everything just feels faster, and you can feel it. Trust me, you'll be able to feel it. This perk is a really, really good perk. You can feel that difference. It helps you out, and what's really important is it allows for these to be almost instantaneous, especially if you're doing like off of combos and stuff like that, all of those become faster because your jump speed becomes faster, right? And it's a slight difference, but I'm telling you, it makes a difference. You can feel it. Now let's talk about leg day champ. This one sucks. Don't use it. I wouldn't say it sucks. It's noticeable, but it becomes a crutch. If you're used to jumping so far, your time is going to be for that, and then you're going to have to use it all the time. So it's not enough of a buff to actually use. So I would never use it, even though it's good. And there's already like dodge canceling in the game, and why would you ever run leg day champ when you can just jump again with triple jump, right? So really kind of like outclassed at this point. But yeah, gravity manipulation, this is actually one of the most slept on perks in the game. Go to perk, best perk, top 4 perks in the game right now, hands down, cannot compare. People just don't know how good this is. I'm gonna go a little bit in depth on this one. Gravity manipulation is really, really solid. Why? It's good because of the fact that one stack gives you 10%, and the second stack gives you 20%. 20% is noticeable, hella noticeable, and I'll show it to you here. So we'll just go ahead and leave that in a single bound on, and let's do it with Superman, because I know a little basic little Superman, little giddy, and we'll show you a little basic little Superman combo, right? So right, that's not a true combo, but it's just a little way to reset, you know, your little specials, right? Right, it's a little quick little way to reset, right? And you see how like slow or how fast it is, right? Cool little combo, whatever. The moment I put that on, you'll immediately feel like just how much better that is. And I always stack this perk, by the way. See what I'm saying? I know you guys felt that. If you guys didn't feel that, then I don't know. I felt that. I can immediately feel that. And then you take it and you put it on 20. Let's hopefully it stacks, because sometimes it doesn't. See what I'm saying? Like, that just becomes so much quicker. And you can feel that. Right? So, that's really good. But another reason why this is the most sleeper... Because it's like, okay, if you're doing it to reset, like, your combo or whatever, that's cool. Or if you're doing it to, like, help you out with an Aria combo, that's cool. But that's not really why this perk is so goated. The reason why I say this is top 3, top 4 perk in the game right now is because people are still not abusing fast fall the way that it was meant to be used. Fast fall allows for you to fall quicker. That's as simple as it is. However, fast fall also has specific things that it does, which is it disrupts enemy timing. See what I'm saying? That is something that's going to disrupt the enemy timing. If you fall faster and then you go like this, right? So let's say you you jumped here, right? And you're like, oh, they're planning for me to like come back this way, right? Planning for me to like do like that, right? Well, you can do the same thing, fast fall really quick, and then disrupt their timing, right? People are not ready for fast fall like mechanics yet, and I don't know if people know it, but like you can actually use fast fall to give you a little bit of a boost off your next jump. So if you fast fall, your next jump goes higher, right, than it would, like that, right? See what I'm saying? So yeah, that's hella cool. Fast fall is one of those perks where people are really not abusing it. But another reason, again, if that wasn't enough, another reason why fast fall is important is because there's tech in this game that allows for you to, I don't know if I want to say that because I want to make my own video on that, but I'll give you another video on why this perk is so god tier. This perk allows for you to do advanced tech that allows for you to OS, it allows for you to have bully tactics. There's so much that I can talk about with this perk, but I won't do all of that in this video because it's already going to be pretty long. So this perk, not good. You can feel it if you stack it, but there's better perks, so I would never use it. Obviously, triple jump, in my opinion, this is a always stack perk. Always. I would never not stack this. If you don't stack it, you're automatically at disadvantage. Sure, you can have the one stack if you want. That's cool. But if you do not double stack this perk, it's not a toxic perk. That's the good thing. But in my opinion, if you're going to be playing at the highest level and you're going to be abusing what's actually good in this game, which is movement, and again, there's tech in this game, advanced movement that you have to do if you want to be really sound and you want to make sure you avoid damage. If you do not have triple jump, it is so much harder to play this game. But it's not toxic. It's a good perk. It's a healthy perk. It creates creativity, which I like, and that's the reason why I love the perk. I have creativity that I've used from this perk, and that's the reason why I use it. It's pretty self-explanatory, so I'm not going to go over it, but this is the best perk in the game. I'll give you a quick example of why this perk is a godsend and why you should be using it. And let me just go ahead and put this on. Bear with me a few. Right, cool. Now sometimes in the training mode it won't actually allow for you to like do it. Alright, see, that's what it would look like if you like actually, like, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Triple jump seems to be bugged, so
just for you.
that's what it's supposed to be like, right? So you do it. See what I'm saying? Like sometimes it just won't, right? See, right there it works. See what I'm saying? Like sometimes it just won't. But I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, the reason why I like triple jump is because you can do this. And it's supposed to do it twice right there, right? Because that's what it really does. It allows for you to have bars on the bottom. But again, for some reason the lab is bugged. It doesn't do this online, but it's bugged in the lab. So yeah, it allows for you to have extra jumps on the bottom as well, which is really important. Now let's talk about another sleeper, Area Acrobat. This is my favorite perk in this game outside of triple jump. This perk allows for you to kind of negate DI, and you will notice it. But it also helps. This is actually like my loadout, by the way. I usually run either all of these with one single bound and then 2 gravity manipulations, or I'll run Sometimes I'll do without this. Sometimes I'll go ahead and do 2 gravity manipulation, which is probably what I should be running. I don't know why I have that on. And this is what like my loadout is. Like this is what I run because movement in this game is better than it is in pretty much any other game. You can feel that acceleration, right? Let me pick a character who can kind of like their animations kind of show it better. Let's do her. So we'll do here, here, here. By the way, I got some tech, so we might as well just stay on her. Yeah. So you're able to do this fast, really, really fast, right? You're just able to move how you want to move, like really quick, right? Your jumps go where you want them to go. You can literally, like that little boost, you can, right? I mean, off that area acceleration. I just were to clear these. Well, I'm not clear. Let me just take this one off and put on, I don't know, increase dodge. Well, I can't do that one because that's going to affect. Let me just put on that because that's not going to do anything. And I'll put this on again to affect that. Alright, cool. And you'll see the difference, right? See how slower that is? I don't. Can you guys see that, or is it just me? I can vividly see in a game where the movement is so fast and you really have to pay attention. That's hella noticeable. This is my favorite perk. If you don't run that perk, you're going to be at a disadvantage. But the main reason I run it, I think it's the second best perk in this game, is due to the fact that it allows for you to get to a spot quicker. And if you pair that with gravity manipulation or in a single bound, these perks all go really well together. And you can really run these as like your original slot. You can run, one of you runs triple jump, the other one runs triple jump, one of you runs area acrobat, and one of you runs one of gravity manipulation, and the other one runs, uh, you know, 2 single bound. Right? You can do it however you want, but in my opinion, gravity manipulation would be better than increased jump speed. But yeah. So yeah, that's area acrobat. That's a really good perk, one of the most slept on perks in this game. You will get cleaned up by a good person who has movement in the game. This perk is trash. If it gave you like maybe like 25 or 20 or something like that, that would be good. But for 10 seconds, like, bro, that's a cooldown. Like, I could literally just armor through that junk with certain characters. The perk's trash. Anyways, let's talk about this perk. This perk is actually god tier, and whenever I go over another perk that's in this list underneath, we'll talk about just how good this can be. This is actually the best offensive perk in the game because it lasts probably the longest and it's the most consistent, which means you're constantly going to see it activating and working. The problem with hit stun is it only for hit stun. The problem with all of those is you got to get a wall, you got to do this, you got to do that. That's why I don't use any offensive perks. They all suck. They're too circumstantial. This is just the moment that you reach over 100 health, you're going to have 10% on every single hit. Every single hit. And it will show. Trust me, it will show in the damage table. This is the best offensive perk that you can have. Now, I would never stack it. It doesn't need to be stacked, ever. And if you're playing tanky characters who already have like a lot of health, like for example, Iron Giant. And if I'm Iron Giant, I'm running this every single time I play the character. Because I know I'm going to be over 100 health. I probably will be over 100 health at the beginning of the game. Just because you can't really run away from people like that. So that's just an automatic boost to your damage, always. And over the course of a game, man, you're looking at like life and so much more damage. Really good perk. And it gets better whenever you stack it with certain things. Now let's talk about CoffeeZilla. Now these bottom 3 right here, this perk sucks. It's balanced where it is. They probably cannot touch it, but this perk just doesn't do enough to warrant usage compared to the other ones. But I understand that. Now I will say you can feel it whenever you stack it. Only if you stack it. If you don't stack it, you're not gonna feel it. But for people that already have like pretty good movement, right? It's like you really, it's like it's not enough. It's really not enough. It doesn't warrant usage. So never use it. There's way better perks. And I'm about to completely break everyone's mindset on what perks are good and what's not good and whatnot with these last three perks here. These last three perks are the most influential to the game and the character, and I'm about to prove it to you. And I'm gonna go in depth with this because I really want to show you guys just how much the developers really thought about this, and I hope to God that developers do not nerf any of this because it doesn't need a nerf. It's healthy, it's fun, it's diverse, it's creating another layer that creates more gameplay, that creates another layer of difficulty and not artificial difficulty. This is an actual like way to like use perks to make your character play differently, and that makes a character healthy, that makes a character fun. I'm pretty sure anybody who watches this video after I talk about these perks, you're gonna be like, man, I want to play this character now. Or, man, the only reason why I didn't want to play that character because I was like, bro, I couldn't really use this, or I couldn't really do that, or I felt like I was just too squished. Like, I didn't want to do that. These perks allow for you to do what you really want to do with the character. And that's really important. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about CoffeeZilla first because it's the worst out of the three. This perk is really not all that. It's not a good perk, but it does do what it's supposed to do, which is 10% off on one stack and 15% off when you two stack. Now, somebody may ask me, that's cool, but is that really doing a lot? In all reality, it really isn't. And that's why I don't run it. I don't run CoffeeZilla at all. Actually, the only way I run CoffeeZilla is if my teammates like, all right, let's cheese the cooldowns. All right, cool, let's do it. And even if so, I'm like, okay, you run CoffeeZilla. I'm gonna run what I want to run, right? I don't run CoffeeZilla. It's not worth it. But the 10% is cool because let's say if you had a 10-second cooldown, now you got a 9-second cooldown. If you had a 10-second cooldown and you double stack, now you got an 8.5-second cooldown. That's cool. It is a good perk, but I myself, I only use it if it is paired with the best must-have perk in the game. I would argue that this perk is more important than triple jump. I would argue that this perk is the most important perk in the game that you have to have. Have to, not a you. No, you have to have this perk if you are playing a character with a cooldown. And somebody be like, but I ain't never heard this perk. What are you talking about? I have been labbing and doing so many studies with this perk that I have legit been able to pick up every single character and make them god tier within the moment that I unlock it. This is the best perk in the game in my opinion. Much better than triple jump, much better than area acrobat, much better than every perk we listed before. This is the best perk in the game. Any character that has a cooldown, I think it's a perk that you must pick. I keep saying that it's not a must pick, but it helps a lot. It makes this game much more fun. So what does it do? Your team receives a 10% ability cooldown refund after dodging an attack, 15% if you double stack it. And the reason why I love this perk so much is I actually always double stack. It's worth it. Unlike every single perk that's like a 10%, 15%, nah, this is a cooldown. Cooldowns are already like 8 seconds, 10 seconds, 11, 12. Maybe you find one of them with 20, who knows? But like most cooldowns are in that short time range. So that 15 is literally like them saying, hey, you got a 10-second cooldown. I'm about to give you 1.5 back just like that. Right? So how do you get the 10% or the 15%? If you dodge an attack, not a projectile, not a melee, not a neutral dodge, not a dash dodge, any dodge. Anywhere, anytime, whether it's you, and here's the kicker, whether it's you or your teammate, both of you get the 15% refund, which means if one of you dodge, both of you just got 10% back on your cooldown, which means, check this out. If one of you dodge in 10 seconds, just one of you, in 10 seconds, you just gave you and your teammate the exact same thing that this perk does the whole game. And all it takes is you got to dodge one time, and you got the exact same thing. the chances of you dodging multiple attacks extremely high, right? Because if you're a good player, you're gonna be dodging a lot, and this game is revolving around that dodge button and with punishing and all that. So you're gonna be dodging, trust me, right? Um, this is a god tier perk. This is one of the better perks in the game, and it's a healthy perk because it's not oppressive. It requires skill. It insinuates skill. It forces you to like, hey, I want to actually like let them come get me so I can get that, so I can get my cooldown. You know what I'm saying? It's a healthy perk, and that's why I love it. Developers, don't you dare nerf this perk. It's a good perk. Leave it be. This creates healthy gameplay. So the reason why I say I would always stack is because you dodge once, that's 15. You dodge twice, that's 30. If you didn't have it, you would only get 20. That's an extra 10%. That's 1 second that you could have. This game is a game of seconds. All you need is an extra second. If you had that extra second, you will be able to get up out of there, use your ability, use your cooldown, get you some armor. That makes the most difference. And in the span of a game that can take 7 minutes or something like that, that 1 second gonna add up, right? And again, you or your teammate dodge. You both get it. Now, the reason why I always pair it at least with 1 stack of CoffeeZilla is because I can then take my cooldown that's 10 seconds and bring it down to 9 seconds, right? Then I'm like, all right, cool. But every time I do this, now I'm taking 15% of 9 seconds. So it's like it's already a lowered cooldown, and then it's even getting more because of the I dodge, you dodge, we dodge. They go really well together, right? Hella cool. Hella cool. Now, again, if you're playing with a character and that has debuff, and you pair that with this, when I'm telling you you're like Batman, for example, if you play those 3 perks with Batman, let's say you forget about triple jump, whatever, you won't even need them. You will be able to have your Batarang 24/7. It will never be on cooldown. Your grenade, it will never be on cooldown. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and show it. I don't want to just talk about it. Let's go ahead and show it. I want to show you guys just how powerful this perk is. So, let me get a teammate. Let's do the Batman. We're going to get him with the Batarang. We're going to go ahead and tell him to throw that thing down. And actually, I'll go ahead and be Batman because pretty sure the computer will not be able to cope properly. So give me a few seconds. I promise you guys it's gonna be worth it. We about to break myths here. We about to go crazy. I'm about to show you guys exactly what it means to be cooldownless. That cool. And since he's gonna be standing still, you don't really need to do nothing. Alright, cool. And we'll just put more recovery, and we'll just put that right there. Right, cool. So automatically, you can immediately see the 15% on the Batman trigger, right? Now check this out. It's automatically back, right? And this is me not touching it at all. This is just the CoffeeZilla at work. That's it, right?
Stay sharp.
There's no cooldown to that whatsoever.
Bullseye.
Right, you could just
use that.
That thing is there, right? And that's just from the CoffeeZilla. Just from the CoffeeZilla alone, right? Now let's say you whiff, right? Alright. Look at the cooldown. Get how fast that's going. You could either run to the thing or by the time it's going, you already have it back. Right? Goated. Very, 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 very good. Now here's the kicker, right? You see how he has that that weaken buff, right? Again, every single time you hit enemies debuffed 0.5, but with it 1 second, right? Automatically back. So yeah, that's actually really good. Really, really good. Why is this glitched out now? Oh my goodness. I hate that. This is what I'm gonna say. The lab is bugged, man. It's devs, please fix the game, please. Making this video 20 times longer. Anyways, yeah. So your cooldown is basically non-existent. You can just spam that as much as you want.
Got my target.
Now check this out.
Batarangs not ready.
Right? Just take a look at it, you know. See what I'm saying? That's hella cool. Hella good. Hella good. Hella good. Hella good. Right? So, obviously, you know, you're playing a Velma. That's a really good one. You know, if you're playing with the Shaggy, it's a really good one. As far as like debuffed enemies, you can look at all of the debuffs in the game. There's many different debuffs and stuff like that. Ignite, all of these things, you know, playing with these, bro, it's good. It's goated, you know. Go crazy, slow, that's a debuff. Weaken, debuff. Again, thorns, debuff. Thorns is, come on now, like, bro, anytime, any debuff, and they just, you get the cooldown, right? Now that's cool and everything, but what does that mean for, like, you, really? So let's hop off of him and let's go to a character where this is important. So let's talk about her. So the least of them all would be this one, because again, you have to get a debuff in order to get it, which means you have to run a character with a debuff. I don't really got time for all that. I don't really care about all that. So we're gonna run that triple jump because that's what we're looking for, and we're gonna run our CoffeeZilla and our I dodge, you dodge, you dodge. And what does this do? So now you have stuff like this, right? That's just a regular cooldown for the ability. Really, really good, really, really nice, really, really sweet. You see how much faster this lasso comes up. Now, this lasso is different from the other one. I use only Grapple of Hermes. I don't use this one at all because it's not good. It's not as good as people think it is. It really ain't. I'm tired of everybody like saying this is the best one and they sleep on this one, and this one's trash as well. It does nothing. Literally a perk can do the exact same thing as this special. Like that perk sucks. I mean, this slot sucks. It's not really useful. But anyways, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna actually showcase how strong it can be whenever you do this. So both of my cooldowns, right? Now remember, this is just one person, right? Imagine two people. And at the same time, and remember, it doesn't have to be these. It can be those as well, right? And that's hella easy to do. You literally, they shoot a projectile. Hey, man, thanks for the cooldown. You know what I'm saying? Hella good, hella good, hella good, hella good. And it's not so quick to where it's like, oh my god, wow. You know, it's smart play. It's good play. It's healthy. It's like, okay, let's roll with the punches here. Now, the reason why I like this so much is because it completely changes the way that this character plays. For example, again, like I said, that move has a shorter cooldown than this move, right? It has a much shorter cooldown. I'm not gonna show that because I've already done that. You can lie with yourself. It's a shorter cooldown, which is good because that makes it pair really well with these two, which also means that now Wonder Woman can play a little bit of a different kind of game style. And let me just go ahead and put him on idle so that way I can show it. Let me do this and let me do that, and we're gonna hop back in here. So number one, you still get the hit, right?
I will ensnare you.
Notice how that combos. You get a combo off of this, and that's what's really important. Because everyone's like, I don't know if you know this or not, but you can get a combo off of both of these, right? This one is easier. I will not cap. This one is easier. High key get more damage, but you don't get the movement. Right, so yeah, that's pretty much like a little basic whatever combo, right? Just that, and then you're good. And that's pretty much all that you get, right? And you could chase if you want, whatever. That's cool. That's hella cool, right? But you can do the exact same thing with this, right? And the cool thing about this move is it brings you to them, which means you actually get to have more follow-up options instead of just bringing them to you. You bring yourself to them. And in my opinion, that's much better, because why would you want to be away from your opponent? Because this game like plays better whenever you're right in their face, you know what I mean? Right? So that's what I do. But another cool thing about it is you can actually do some little combos like these.
Snare you.
You can do just little whatever, right? It may not be true combos, but you have some true combos as well.
You're going down.
Right? You have combos. Right? So yeah, hella cool, hella good ability. And the reason why I really love it is not because you can combo off of it, because that's cool and everything, but I really use this for movement, because that's what's really important with Wonder Woman, is her movement. She's the best movement character in the game, hands down. Nobody else is touching her. The second best movement character will be Ryan Dog. People are still sleeping on his movement. Then after that, I would have to give it to Batman, then Finn, and probably Superman after that. Yeah, those characters have go-to movement that you just cannot beat. Batman's movement is really nasty, but he has nothing on Superwoman, and he has nothing on Ryan Dog. But anyways, back to the topic here.
You're through.
This allows for her to like go upwards like that, or you can like have it forward and then you go upwards last second. So I put it forward, then I went up. You see what I'm saying? Like I decided to go up instead of just going forward, right? Or you can go like up and then go down, right? Or you can like go like up and then no, I want to go down now. You can go down. Nope, I want to go up now. See what I'm saying? Like you can control it completely, and that's really good because it allows for you to do this mid combo or mid whatever and do like some crazy stuff. For example, something like this.
I see my target.
Right now, if the bot was on recovery, you know, you'll probably see a little bit more. Let's put him on dodge through hit stun. Right, something like that. Oh, I did that for no reason. There. Then you can just stay right there, right? And purposely use that. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but you can actually use this to hit as well. Right? If you do that same max spacing, it'll hit, right? And they can't get out of. See how he got hit? It'll hit. That means you can actually do this. Right? That's a hit. They can't get out of that. Which means if you hit while they're on the edge of the map or something like that, right? See what I'm saying? That's the whole thing about it. That's really nice. Oh, right there. So you can like actually play this with a little bit of a range game, right? And you can use this as a way to get yourself out of there. And another good reason about it is you can do this as well. So you can use your shield and then immediately get out of that with that. And if they actually shoot at the shield, you have much more options as well.
Speak truth.
So yeah, you can actually use your lasso out of shield almost immediately. But you can do it with any but I like doing my lasso because it allows for me to reposition. Alright. So let's say I wanted to like get out of a situation, get out of there, and then punish from above, right? You can't just do like, of course you could do like this, right? Right, you could do that as well. This doesn't cost you anything. It's just there. You didn't have to use your resources to get up there, right? And that's the reason why I love this, is because movement is obviously the best mechanic in the game. If you have movement, you're gonna be goated. So what does this really mean? What's another reason why I use this? Is because if you didn't know, you can actually gain a momentum boost from doing this, right? See how much she was able to cover just like that, right? Check this out. No other character can kind of do that horizontal zigzag like that, right? Right? Like who else in the game can do that, right? Nobody. Right? I mean, literally, how do you chase that? How do you can't. The movement is too good, right? So yeah, go to character, best movement in the game, and this just makes it better. Now you can also do stuff like this, right? Who's gonna be able to stop you from doing that, right? Nobody. And you can literally just stand there and just go crazy. Like, the amount of time that you have to just stand out here now, right? And then just get back to where you need to be. It's goated. Like, she's the only character I know of that can legit just, like, do that and then get up out of there. Like, just like that, right? Like, literally just, like, let's say she's down here and just get up out of there. So, yeah, she's a go-to character with that movement. Like, her having access to this is just God tier because it makes her where she can basically quadruple jump. For example, see what I'm saying? Like, that's basically 4 jumps, right? So yeah, really good character. Really good character. I really love this character. This character is hella fun to me. You have so many options while you're doing her kit, whatever. And again, let's say if you're like in the corner and you're about to die, you can actually use her grapple here
That was a lucky shot.
to get out of there. Because remember, you travel through, right? You can actually get in between that. So you can use that to kind of escape if they're trying to like push you at the top. Like, nah, get that. Come on to the bottom. Get up out of there, right? So yeah, really, really good move. And again, you can combo from it, so you can actually punish somebody who's trying to come and get you. You can hit them with the whip and then send them to the ring out.
Ready for more.
For example, you can hit them and bing, right? You can do that. There's so much you can do with that move, right? So that's pretty much what that looks like on her. And you get more armor from using CoffeeZilla, all of that. She becomes a much better character whenever you put on CoffeeZilla and I dodge, you dodge, we dodge. Now, let's talk about another character. And this character makes this really, really good. So let's go ahead and do this with this one, and that one. So, I don't know if people know the intricacies of Arya, so I won't say too much because I'm going to be making an Arya guide pretty soon because she's my little baby. But if you shoot your dagger at your teammate, they get the enrage buff, right? Now let's take off instant cooldown so we can see. Put it on them. Look at your cooldown. The moment you come back, it's pretty much not there, right? So yeah, actually right now it's actually not working properly. It's glitching out right now because it's actually supposed to be almost instantaneous. So I do believe that it's glitched out right now. Before it was instantaneous. So yeah, it's glitched, but yeah, right now it's supposed to, whenever it's with your teammate basically, like, you get less of a cooldown whenever it's your teammate. So I'm not too sure what was going on with that, but we're about to reset it. Hopefully that fixes it. Let's see. Yep, nope, it's still good. Same thing. Okay, well, whatever. We'll take it. I'm just letting you guys know that's not how long the cooldown would actually be. It actually will be like 3/4 of the way. Right now it's doing half, which is letting me know that it's not working properly. It would be 3/4 of the way. But anyways, whenever you shoot it at your teammate, they get enraged. If you dash towards them, you get enraged. And that's hella good because it allows for you to do a lot of cheesy stuff. Now, I never use this because I don't really care about enrage, but it implies again that debuffed thing that we were talking about earlier, which allows for you to mess with that baby there. But I always use this just because it's better. Now let's actually go ahead and do a little bit of talking about this. So this, if you hit, it'll be at that little half marker, right? If you don't hit, it gives you a much longer cooldown. But if you didn't know, if your opponent walks over it, or your teammate, whoever walks over it, they immediately, it latches onto them. So you can actually use this ability as a gating tool, right? You can use it as a way to gate somebody. Like, okay, well, I know you're gonna be over here, so I'm gonna throw it right there, so that way you can't like just like run over here and then like reset on the other side of the map. You can use it to control mid, because anybody who takes mid, right, they have to respect that, right? So again, you can literally just at the start of the game, because if you just throw it right here, it won't reach. If you stand in that exact same spot and jump, it'll go much further. So you can actually just completely control mid at the start of the game, just like that, just by throwing that out, right? And you're letting them know, hey, you can't get over there. So yeah, this is goated. This allows for Arya to play a lot much more of a range game. Now, I do apologize because it's bugged right now, so you won't be able to see the full power. But basically, if you didn't know, let me go ahead and make him do a normal forward, right? And then I'll go ahead and throw this on him. Nope. See how I got that's the thing about Arya that's really cool. She automatically gets a dodge at the beginning, right? Right, so you see how she automatically gets that dodge at the beginning? If you see that, automatically just cut your timing in half, which is really good, right? Because that basically means like, nope, you don't have to worry about all of that.
I'll make it quick.
And that gives you basically so much off of your cooldown. Just hella good. Hella good. So yeah. And again, the cool thing about Arya is if you're playing it properly, you're probably going to be getting some juicy combos. So by the time you get out of a combo, let's say you just did a little basic B&B or whatever. Right? Oh, you don't want me to do that one. So we're going to do this one here. Alright, by the time you get out there or you're like doing the air stuff or whatever, your cooldown's already pretty much back, right? Now again, I do apologize. This would have came back like so much quicker if it was stacking, but it's not stacking right now, so it is what it is. Even the 10% right now, it's not stacking properly. Yes, I can even tell because it's got my character glitched. But that would be a really good way to like kind of play Arya in a different way, a different style, right? And also you can do this. Well, yeah, you can do stuff like that as well to kind of like cheese it. You can literally just like sit there and like neutral dodge there. Right, like that, and then you just got it back, right? I'd actually do this online just to cheese people. Now the timing for it is different online. That's the reason why this is just not gonna work when you use the timing and stuff online. But and then punish, right? Because people really, they just go for their normals, right? Because people don't know. Oh, right, that's a punish. Or if you do it off the first one, see what I'm saying? You see how his timing goes slower when he whiffs? Now watch if he hits. See how much quicker that is? So if you whiff, if you purposely do that,
Don't underestimate me.
if you purposely make somebody whiff like that, you can actually like have enough time to punish him. Wow, why is he moving back so far? Jesus. Alright, I'm done. I'm not gonna keep going over this. Anyways, you get the picture. You can use their normals as a way to punish. Like that, right? And if you make their first one whiff, that's enough time for you to actually go ahead and punish. Like that. Yeah, so cool. Really cool thing. You can get in between somebody's strings if you time the dodge properly, and it also gives you your cooldown back, so you can actually abuse that. Now again, I wish I could showcase just how strong this was for Arya, because she legit gets her cooldown before you even touch the ground whenever it's working properly, and it's really good. And due to it being really good, you can actually play Arya in a better way. Now another character that this really helps on is Tom and Jerry. Also Ryan. Ryan's tether basically becomes something that you can have active so much more, which means you're almost essentially keeping your character, your teammate alive longer. And again, I wish it was working because I would love to show you guys just how powerful this is, but such is the case with the lab. What you actually can do is you can throw it at your teammate, right? Oh, that now it's working. You see that? You see that cooldown, right? That's what it's supposed to be like. See how quick that is? Yeah, that's what your cooldown is supposed to be like. So I'm guessing I just fixed it just by the randomness. So you can throw that and get to your friend, right? So you can literally tell your friend, hey, I got that. Go crazy. And be like, nope, I want to go back home, right? Throw it back. Cooldown already gone. You literally dodge once and you can already like have it back. So you can literally like do it and then dodge one attack and then you can like have it ready again to throw again. So like this makes it so good. This also allows for you to keep giving your buddy boy here like that buff here that we were talking about, right? So if I were to switch to this again, right, it allows for you to keep giving them that enrage buff literally as much as you want. Now the cooldown is longer, but it'll still give them that little buff, right? Hella cool, hella cool. So yeah. Yeah, that is cool. I'm happy that it's working now. I wonder if I can now actually showcase how strong this is. Let's see. We're about to find out, buddies. Cool. Cool, right?
Not today.
And remember, like I said, you see what I'm talking about? Before you even touch the ground, before they even touch the ground, you're pretty much already like again set for another combo, right? Again, you dodge already. You ain't touching the ground. Get out of here. And remember, this is if like okay, you miss, right? Like that's just natural like gameplay, right? You're going to be dodging like all the time. And again, this is just me, not my teammate. This makes Arya so much better of a character because you can immediately just like go crazy, right? See what I'm saying? Like you're always dodging. If you're playing the game properly, you're always dodging, always.
Quick now.
See what I'm saying? Like I already have it, and then you can use it as a get out tool now, like as well. Just turned into an Arya, whatever. All right, I'm done. I'm not gonna go over too much. Oh, I lied. I have one more to go over, and this is actually one of the more like game-changing ones. Wow, I shouldn't have spent as much time on that because now I gotta go over this one. Wow. So let's just go ahead and pick LeBron. Let's go ahead and pick Tom and Jerry. Actually, let's do Velma. Actually, no, let's do Ryan. So, the best perk for a zoner, hands down. If you don't have this perk on, and they do, you're automatically going to be catching that fat L. And when I say that fat L, I mean that fat T with the McPatty L. Right? So, let me go ahead and take my teammate. I'm going to put him over here. And we're going to give him the same thing that I have. We're only going to do this one perk because that's really like all I need to show. And we're going to make him do his normal attacks or whatever he does. We're going to put him on recovery. We're going to do dodge during hit stun because that's whenever they actually have the most DI. And we're going to put him on just, let's do up. No, let's do forward. And I'm going to go ahead and put a bot over here on his team. Right, and he's just gonna be idling. Nah, let's not make him idle, because then he'll be tweaking. All right, cool. Retaliation Ready is a really good perk. It gives you, oh, I think it's bugged. It is bugged. Oh my goodness. It's supposed to give you 4 gray health, but right now it's only going to give 3 because it's bugged right now. So I do apologize. The lab. It is what it is. But what can you do? So let's do that. Let's see. Hopefully this changes something. Nope, it's gonna be bugged. Right.
Heads up. All you. Now take. Catches.
Imagine if he was attacking the guy. Every single time I land a projectile, that 3 refills, which basically means I'm regenning shields for my teammate. In the span of a game, do you know just how much health that is being added to your life over time? That is so much health that it's actually not even funny just how much health you're actually getting from being there, right? So all I'm going to say is this, right? Look at that. You see, he didn't do any damage to him, right? Is he still gonna keep attacking? Focus on your buddy, bro. My goodness. So bum. I swear, bro, the lab is so trash, dude. It's actually god awful.
You really thought I'd go out. Take that.
See what I'm saying? Like, he can't damage him, right? So yeah, this perk is actually really freaking good. And if it was 4 grails, it's even better. I always stack, because if you and your teammate both have this on and you're both zoners, or you're both playing characters who can like do pressure, like for example Ryan or something like that, and you both have this on, and I'll go ahead and make Ryan shoot him, so maybe they'll make him start attacking each other. See what I'm saying? We're both just basically like going crazy with the projectiles. There's nothing, there's always constantly getting health, right? Like, but yeah, it's a really good perk. I'm sorry I'm not able to showcase it right because the bots are dumb, but basically the way that it works is you can essentially always have your teammate with at least 4 shields that they have to break over and over again. And again, if you have projectile combos, for example, let me just give you a demonstration because people probably won't see how that's powerful just yet. You're like, well, it's only 4 shields. Like, I can just break that like with 1 punch. True, but guess what? You still have to break 4 shields, and it's gonna regenerate right back. What I mean by regenerate is a lot of characters have like projectile combos. For example, right here, that's a projectile combo. That's a 2-hitting projectile combo that you can't get out of, which means you're gonna have to break through 8 health just to go ahead and get like any sort of damage on that guy whatsoever, right? That's a projectile, right? You see how I gave him the 3? Well, in this case it will be 4, but that and the first hit of the first hit of Jerry, that'll give him the 3, and then that cork will also give him another 4 or another 3, and that right there, you see how that's a hit stun? You can't get out of it. That's a projectile combo. And Tom also has this where you can do this, right? He has so many combos where you can link immediately into a projectile, right? And you just can't get out of it. So that's really good. But also, let's say you do the one that everyone like sees, which is this one, right? You just interrupted, like, probably like if they were in the middle of a huge like combo or something like that, probably just took away like 15 damage from that whole combo, right? So yeah, every single one of those hits will apply armor. So let's say they're like literally in the middle of a combo and the guy again, you can't laugh, so like I can't really show just how powerful it is just yet, but you'll be able to see that this perk basically makes you and your teammate a tank. This makes double zoners viable in pro play, in my opinion, because you can now sit there and actually use your projectiles as a way to give yourself health, which now makes you a tank. Now makes your squishy character a lot much more safe. If you do this, your teammate, let's say you're playing with the Arya, say you're a Ryan, you're not running this perk, but you're playing with the Arya because your Arya is a really good Arya, and you want to, survive. You don't want her to die. If you pair retaliation with the cooldown perks, with on top of that the one Coffeezilla and one triple jump or whatever, my guy, you're looking at like a extremely solid perk setup that's going to make it to where you're both having extremely short cooldown, so you can tether Arya all the time to save her. Not only that, she has her dagger to save herself on you because of the cooldown, so she can just always come right back to you. And then on top of that, she's getting so much health over time just from you actually landing your projectiles. And if you didn't know this, by the way, Ryan Dog actually has projectile combos as well. Every single character that has projectiles has projectile combos where you can actually hit them in the miss. Right? That's a projectile combo. It's a guaranteed hit. And not only that, he has frame traps, right? So you can do stuff like that, where you can do something like this, and that's a frame trap. If you do not jump or back out of the way, or even if you try to back dodge it, anything that you do, any hit that you try to do, you're going to get clipped by that hit. With the reaction time of a human, you're going to have to eat that. That's a frame trap, which means that's guaranteeing that this hit is going to be there. If you do that more than enough times, you're talking about like some serious like projectile, because the moment you get one of these, you can start spamming, right? So yeah, and then just this alone, like he's got projectile for days, right? He can, right? So yeah, like he can put those projectiles up there. Now look at the tether, right? Look at how fast tether comes back, and this is without dodging. Let's say you're both dodging throughout the game, right? Just dodging, going crazy. Just imagine the amount of, like, just the sheer amount of, dodging that you'll be doing. I'll try to get this guy to dodge as well, so that way we can see. I'll try to get him to dodge neutral. Hopefully we get to see a good showcase here. So since he can't dodge that, we'll go ahead and do forward one. Hopefully that helps him out. Yeah, the bots are just trash, man. You get the picture. You can basically have your tether up 24/7 and make it goated. This is the most slept on perk. This is one of the best healing perks in the game. Not one of the best. This is the best defensive perk in the game if you are a zoner. Hands down. There's nothing else that's going to compare to it. Nothing in these sections will ever give you as much. For example, this can completely negate every single attack perk in the game if you just hit one projectile. The amount of damage that you get from landing a full combo on an Iron Giant, if I hit your teammate or you once while you're in that combo, I just negated everything that every attack perk in this game would have given you if you had it on. Even Last Stand. That's how strong this perk is, because they only are giving you like 1 to 4. No offensive perk in this game in any combo will give you more than 4 or something damage. You're not going to see damage numbers explode like that, but this perk completely negates all of it with one projectile, and you can keep doing it over. This is the best perk in the game. If you're a zoner, it's a must-have if you're a zoner. So yeah, that is all the perks. I'm not going to go ahead and try to like list them, because all of them are kind of situational. as far as like how you're playing. But that's all I have to say. Thank you guys for watching the video.